Hello all, welcome to Homeschool, and we are with the chapter reproduction, that is how do organisms reproduce. And in the last class we have discussed certain introduction part of reproduction. What do you mean by a term variation, and what do you mean by a term inheritance, importance of variation we discussed, and also the two types of reproduction, that is sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. The differences we have discussed. And today we are with asexual reproduction, and this is a very important part of a chapter, and definitely one question can come from this part, that is asexual reproduction, which many of the students neglect actually. But do not neglect very simple aspects you are studying. Let us go to the topic very quickly. So we all know what do you mean by asexual reproduction, isn't it? A single parent gives new organisms, isn't it? Very simple type of a reproduction. You will mainly find this kind of reproduction in single cell organisms or very less advanced plant bodies or animal bodies, very simple plant or animal bodies. Okay, and there are various types of asexual reproduction actually. They are I list out on a board. Please note the types, they are very much important, and we are going to discuss each and every type in detail. Clear? First and foremost, we have asexual reproduction, that is fission. Second one is fragmentation, asexual reproduction by fragmentation. Okay, and the third one is regeneration. And the fourth variety of asexual reproduction is budding. Very simple type of reproduction, budding. Fifth one, vegetative propagation. Okay. And the last and final variety of asexual reproduction that we have to discuss in this chapter is spore formation. Okay. So now let us discuss about the fission. Clear? So what do you mean by fission here? You know, what happens in fission is a single cell would be there initially, that is the parent cell. It goes on splitting into many new cells. Each and every new cell is a daughter cell. Okay, and once the fission has occurred, there is no parent will die. The parent itself divides into two new cells. Okay, so here there is no concept of retaining a parent who die once the cell splits into two, isn't it? So this is a parent. Imagine this is a parent. Okay, it just splits, and now the two parts are very much new. There is no parent at all, isn't it? So such a type of asexual reproduction is called as fission, right? And there are two types of fission actually. We have binary fission, okay, and multiple fission. Binary fission and multiple fission. Clear? So let us discuss about binary fission, guys. In the binary fission, what do you mean by binary? The word bi in the sense two. Okay, so here what happens? Each cell splits into two. Two cells or organism. Here cell itself is nothing but organism, because we are talking about single cell organisms like amoeba. Okay, so the best example here is amoeba. Okay, amoeba, leishmania, okay, paramecium, euglena, all of them undergo binary fission to reproduce. Clear? So let us discuss binary fission in amoeba. Okay, binary fission in amoeba. You can observe a picture of binary fission there. See how a cell is dividing into two. Similarly, the same type of a fission can occur in amoeba, leishmania and other single cell organisms. Okay, so let us talk about how that fission occurs in amoeba. So you all know amoeba doesn't have a specific shape, isn't it? So imagine this is an amoeba. Initially what happens is the nucleus will become flat, right? During the time of reproduction, what happens? Nucleus is actually becoming flat. You know, this is a nucleus in amoeba, right? And this particular nucleus becomes flat. So I will write here flattened nucleus. Flattened nucleus. Okay, so once the nucleus gets flattened, slowly what happens is that flattened nucleus will try to divide. Okay, nucleus will break into two. So what happens? Initially nucleus is breaking into two. Okay, nucleus is splitting into two. Okay, and once the nucleus has split into two, cytoplasm, that is this particular thing, you know, the cell membrane starts splitting. Okay, say like this. See, cell membrane is also started to split up. Okay, so once finally in the what happens, 100% splitting takes place, so you get a new amoeba, two new amoebas you will get. Okay, so this is how binary fission occurs in amoeba. So initially what happened, the nucleus became flat and the nucleus split into two, and slowly the cell membrane is also getting splitted off. Finally it splits into two. Okay, so very simple type of a fission where each cell is divided into two cells, a new organism, two new organisms are produced that way, which we call it as binary fission. Okay, and actually in amoeba you see the splitting has no direction. You know, amoeba doesn't have a particular shape. Splitting can happen in any direction, guys. Clear, everybody? Fine. And let us now observe how the splitting takes place in leishmania. So you have to copy the picture. This can be asked in the examination. Okay, so how is splitting can occur in amoeba? It's a very simple. You have to show it in a diagrammatic way. Clear? Copy it. Later we will go for the leishmania. See guys, coming to binary fission in leishmania, you know, leishmania is also a single cell microorganisms. Actually, it is a protozoa. It is a protozoa that causes a disease called Kala-Azar. Kala-Azar disease. Okay, it's a kind of fever associated with, lots of pimple-like things appear on the skin. Okay, lots of globule-like thing appear on the skin. Such a disease we call it as Kala-Azar, and this is caused by leishmania, that is a protozoan type. Okay, and you know, here the splitting occurs in a longitudinal plane. How does the splitting takes place? Splitting occurs in longitudinal plane. Okay, how is the splitting occurred in amoeba? There is no certain plane, guys, right? Because amoeba doesn't have a particular shape, but here the splitting can occur longitudinally. Clear? So how does a leishmania looks like? You know, it's a longitudinal structure. Say if this is a leishmania, what happens is initially the nucleus gets splitted off, right? So once the nucleus gets splitted off, what happens? Slowly the cytoplasm also splits, right? So this is one nucleus, this is one nucleus. You can observe, you know, the cytoplasm is also getting splitted off. and that leads to a new leishmania. This is one leishmania and this is another leishmania you will get. Okay, see how is the splitting occurring here? Longitudinal plane, like vertically the splitting is occurred longitudinally, isn't it? So such a splitting you will see it in leishmania, that is protozoa. So this is all about binary fission, guys. So each and every cell is getting splitted up into two. Clear? And coming to multiple fission. So what do you mean by a multiple fission here? Each cell splits into many cells, okay, or many organism. Here the cell itself is an organism, okay. For example, plasmodium, okay. So a single cell organism, plasmodium, you will observe a multiple fission there. You can observe a picture there, okay. So what is happening initially? You have a cell, okay, where you have a nucleus, clear, and you know the nucleus initially gets splitted up into many nuclei are formed here, isn't it? And you know many nuclei enclosed in this cytoplasm, thick cytoplasm, is called cyst. Cyst in the sense what? Many nuclei would be there in this thick cytoplasm. This is called cyst. Now slowly what happens is, you know, in this thicker wall around each and every nuclei, you know, actually cytoplasm would be created and this becomes an entirely new cells. Okay, so this is a nucleus and this is a cytoplasm. Nucleus, cytoplasm. See, a group of cells have been formed. Okay, say finally, you know what happens when a group of cells are formed? This wall of a cyst will break down. Okay, and they will move out freely. Right? So from each cell, what has initially happened here? So many nuclei are formed, and around the nuclei, you know, cytoplasm will get created. So many cells would have been there in this thick wall called cyst, and once the wall of a cyst breaks down, all the cells would move freely individually. Clear? So such a fission we will call it as multiple fission that is observed in Plasmodium. Clear? That's it. So next, let us go for fragmentation. Coming to fragmentation, you know, fragmentation is seen in multicellular organism. Okay, remember, it is observed or seen in multicellular organisms which have a simple body framework. Okay, very simple. They are not made up of very complex tissues or organs. Say in their bodies you don't have specialized organs for doing different works. Many cells would be there in a body, but they are very simple. Okay, they are not made up of into organs or tissues, isn't it? So such organisms can reproduce through fragmentation. You know, for example, Spirogyra. Okay, so where is Spirogyra normally present? It is present in ponds or lakes, guys. Okay, so very interesting thing would happen here. You can just observe the picture here. What happens here is each Spirogyra, okay, which is having many cells. Say this is one cell, this is another cell, this is another cell of Spirogyra. You know, on maturity, once the Spirogyra becomes an adult, maturity in the sense what? When it becomes an adult, you know, it can broken up into small pieces. Okay, and each and every species will develop as a new individual, new Spirogyra. This is what we call fragmentation. Okay, so what definition you can give for fragmentation here? On maturation, each organism splits into pieces. These pieces only we call it as fragments. Okay, fragments. And each fragment develops as new organism or new spirogyra is getting generated. Okay, so this breaks, here one break, here one break. So what you would observe, breaks into fragment, guys. This is one fragment, and you know this is another fragment, right? So each fragment is developed into a new spirogyra, again having so many cells, isn't it? So this is how fragmentation occurs in the organisms, multicellular organisms which are having a very simple body like spirogyra. So on maturation, each and the organism breaks into small pieces. Each piece is developed into new spirogyra here. That's it, very simple. And the next type of asexual reproduction is regeneration. Okay, so it's a very simple process. Whenever an organism is cut or broken accidentally, okay, so each cut or broken piece will develop into new organism, guys. Okay, so that is called regeneration. Clear? So how do you write its definition? When an organism cut or broken into small pieces, each piece develops into new organism. Okay, so remember, this is just an accidental process. In case of cut or breaking, it can regenerate itself. Clear? So I will write a note here. This is just an accidental process actually. Clear? Say for example, planaria, right? So how does a planaria looks like, guys? So if this is a planaria, so imagine this planaria, it's having a head part. Imagine this is a head part, this is a tail part, and this is a body part. Okay, this is a body, 3 parts, right? Imagine it got broken down accidentally. Here you had one cut, here you had one cut. Say the head part is separated out. What happens here? The head part slowly, it grows. The body part and tail part also will grow to this head part. It becomes a new individual. Okay. Say this is actually a body part, and this is actually a tail part. Even a body part, slowly a head and tail also will grow. This is a tail part, original tail part. Okay, to this a body as well as head part also will grow, isn't it? And now each and every part is actually becoming new planaria. This part has become a new planaria, and this body part, whatever is there, slowly this is also becoming a new planaria, isn't it? And this also would have become a new planaria. Right? So this is how, whenever you cut an organism or if it is suddenly broken down accidentally, each and every part would develop into a new organism. So such a asexual reproduction is called as regeneration. Clear? Actually, these kind of organisms will have a very specialized cells in them. Okay, so those specialized cells, can create different new cells or different new tissues of its own body type, and it can develop into the whole new organism. Actually, this process is called development. So these specialized cells will undergo a development. They can able to create a new cells which can give that body framework to the cut piece and finally leads to the development of entirely a new organism of its own type, isn't it? So this is what we call regeneration, right? So let us talk about the next variety of asexual reproduction, that is budding. Guys, what happens in budding is, see, first and foremost, try to remember it is seen in organisms like Hydra. See, Hydra kind of organisms have a special cells called regeneration cells. Okay, so where those cells are responsible to create buds or small outgrowths in a body, right? So first, let us write its definition. What happens is small outgrowths. Small outgrowths. These outgrowths itself we call it as buds. Okay, appear at certain sites or certain areas. Okay, certain sites on a body due to rapid cell division. Okay, so at a particular place, the regeneration cells would be there. They divide very fastly so that a bunch of cells, a small outgrowth called buds appear, right? And later these buds grows as a new individual, and gets detached from parent body. Okay, so this is what occurs in budding, guys. So let me show that clearly with the help of pictures. Okay, so imagine this is your hydra, body of a hydra. Okay, and initially what happens is, imagine at a particular site, at a specific site. In this site, the regeneration cells are very rapidly dividing so that a small bud-like growth has been formed. Okay, and slowly what happens is this bud starts growing just like a hydra. Okay, so what happens here? The bud is here and the bud also starts growing. Clear? So it grows in a faster pace. It grows with more speed, just like a hydra. See, observe here. So this is your parent hydra. See, the bud is also like, it started growing just like a hydra. And on maturation, at some point of time, it comes out from a parent body and separates as a new individual. Okay, so if this is the parent hydra, and this particular outgrowth, that is this bud that has grown into a bigger hydra, just like a parent hydra, comes outside and it also exists as a new individual now. Clear? So this is how the budding can occur, and one of the variety under asexual reproduction. Okay, so initially the rapid cell division occurs at a particular area. The bud occurs, the bud slowly grows. On maturation, it can become a big hydra now, and at a particular time the detachment, that is separation from a parent body, takes place and exists as a new individual. The same bud is growing and existing as a new individual here. Okay, so this is what we call budding. Guys, coming to vegetative propagation, see, this method of asexual reproduction is seen in plants. Okay, it is mainly seen in plants. You might have observed in a normal situation, say if you want a jasmine plant or hibiscus or something, what we do is we just cut the stem and we put it in a soil so that it can completely grow up into a new plant, isn't it? So that itself we will call it as vegetative propagation. Okay, so what definition I can write here is, When vegetative parts of a plant, vegetative parts, what do you mean by vegetative parts, guys? Vegetative parts are nothing but roots, stems, okay, leaves, etc. These are called vegetative parts of a plant. So when these vegetative parts of a plant are cut, and placed in a soil, when you cut it and then those parts are placed in a soil, they will grow as a new plant body. They grow as a new plant body, isn't it? At favorable conditions. See, conditions also have to be favorable. Environment should be favorable, a proper amount of water should be given, and the minerals must be there in a soil. Only when the conditions are favorable, then only the stem or whatever the root that you cut and place it in a soil, no, that will grow as a new plant. Okay, so what I have to include in a definition? Such growth is observed only at a favorable conditions. Okay, all conditions have to be favorable: environment, soil, watering, everything. Okay, only then the cut parts, when put it in a soil, it can grow into a completely new plant. Clear? So such a asexual reproduction observed in plant is called vegetative propagation. Clear? Say for example, you can observe the picture there. Various examples are there. So what examples you will give here is, the plants like jasmine, isn't it? Rose, banana, right? So usually they lost a capacity of producing seeds. Okay, they don't have actually the seeds. So when you don't have a seed to sow and grow a plant, you can just cut the stem of them and put it in a soil so that the plant can be grown. So usually when you grow the plants by vegetative propagation, you will get the seeds and flowers very early than the process where you have sowed the seed and then grown a plant. Imagine you had a seed of a rose, okay, and and this seed you have sowed on a soil and a plant has grown. At some point of time it gives flowers, etc., right? So this process, the giving flowers from such a seed of a rose plant may take years together. To observe flowers of such plant, it takes some months or years. Okay, but when you cut some rose stem and plant it in the same soil, you will observe the appearance of flowers much early as compared to this process. Okay, in this process you took a seed, you have put it in a soil and you are watering and you are growing a plant, and once the plant grows fully, then only you will observe the flowers. But when you cut a rose stem and put it in a soil, it grows very fastly, and very fastly you will observe the flowers. Okay, so appearance of seeds and flowers is much faster in vegetative propagation compared to the sowing of seeds. Clear? Fine. And this vegetative propagation is useful in grafting and layering. Grafting, layering. Okay. Say, do you know the meaning of the word grafting? Nowadays we find too many hybrid varieties, isn't it? Say if you cut a banana, you can sometimes observe that kiwi fruit. When kiwi plant has combined with a banana plant, I took a stem of a kiwi plant, took a stem of a banana plant, I attach both of them, I plaster it. Okay, then you will get a different fruit where you have a flavor of kiwi as well as banana, isn't it? So grafting, such grafting and layering can be done based on what type of reproduction, guys? Vegetative propagation. Okay, so even you have certain plants leaves like bryophyllum. Bryophyllum. Okay, say the leaves, you know, these leaves actually grow, a kind of buds would grow on a leaf, right? Say there would be buds, and later this buds itself starts to grow like a plant. So when you separate a bud and put it in a soil, you know, this can grow as a new plant. Okay, so on a leaf also you sometimes can observe a bud. So cut the buds, put it in a soil, it can grow it as a new plant. Okay, so all these are actually examples of vegetative propagation. The picture that you can see where you have a potato, even in a potato you will start observing buds when you keep it for more days, isn't it? The green color buds. Say cut the buds, you cut it and put it in a soil, you can get a new potato plant, isn't it? So similarly, the roots can give a new plant, and the buds that is developing on the leaves can give a new plant. The stem, cut the stem, when you put it in a soil, it can raise up to a new plant. You know, the whole lot of these processes are called vegetative propagation. Okay, fine. Next, let us discuss about spore formation. See guys, have you ever observed what happens for a bread pieces when you kept it in a moist areas? So you can do this at home also. Take a piece of bread, sprinkle some water on this, just sprinkle a drops of water. Okay, keep that bread piece in a closed container in some box for about 2 days. After 2 days, you open the box and see what happened for the bread. Bread will get spoiled. Why the bread is getting spoiled, guys? Because there develops a fungus called bread mold, isn't it? So the black color tiny filamental structures, very, you know, thread-like structures are appeared on a bread. You know, those thread-like structures are called bread mold. Okay, bread mold scientific name is Rhizopus. Okay, so what happens here is, okay, let me draw a bread. Imagine this is a bread. So on a moist areas, when you keep the bread as it is for too many days, what happens is thread-like structures are grown. Okay, thread-like structures are grown like this, you know. And this is how, when you look at these structures in a microscope, this is how it looks. Lots of thread-like structures. Okay, and it will have a long filament. This is actually called as hyphae. This is called hyphae. Okay, and these knob-like structures are there, no? The filament will end up with knob-like structures, and these knob-like structures are called sporangia. They are called sporangia. And these sporangia will have a small cells. Sporangia will have a small cells, guys. So these sporangia which is having a small cells are called spores. Okay, and these spores, when they fall on a moist area, imagine this part of a bread is also moist now. This spore, when it falls on this moist area, no, it will grow out into a new bread mold. Clear? So what actually the fungus that is appearing on a bread, it is bread mold. Bread mold. Okay, which is also called as Rhizopus. This organisms or fungus name is Rhizopus. Okay, so what does a Rhizopus includes, guys? It includes a long filament, okay, which is called as hyphae, and a knob-like structure, called sporangia. Okay, and this sporangia contains so many spores. Okay, small cells called spores. These spores, when fall on a moist area, you know, they develop into new rhizopus. They develop into new rhizopus. Okay, so this is how a new organism is formed from spores. Okay, so how are they formed? They are forming from spores. And you know, the spores are actually protected by a thick cell walls. Each and every spore is protected with thick cell wall. But when it falls and comes in contact with moist place, the cell wall breaks up, and you know, the spore will grow up into a new rhizopus, a new mold. Okay, so this kind of asexual reproduction is called as spore formation. Okay, so it is seen in bread mold, that is rhizopus. Clear? So what you can write for this is, you can just write a certain organisms like rhizopus which contains sporangia. Sporangia contains a small cells called spores, and these spores, when comes in contact with moist places, develops into a new rhizopus. You know, so such kind of asexual reproduction is spore formation. Clear? So with this, I am completing different types of asexual reproduction. Revise carefully. They are very much important. At least one question will come from this particular part. Okay, very simple. Only thing you should understand their definition and what happens. The examples try to remember. Clear? And in my next class, let us start with sexual reproduction. Initially, we will talk sexual reproduction in plants. Later, we will go to humans. Okay? Thank you so much. If you like our video, please like, share and subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in an easier way and in a detailed way. Thank you so much.